I saw her standing on her front lawn, just a twirling.
Hello, and welcome to today's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where we're going to take a look at Thursday's puzzle on the 30th of November. So I'll try and keep this as real as possible and then talk about some of the challenges after I've finished, assume it doesn't take too long. Let's go. Okay, so cool girls knocked back, say, by youth leader's plan. That must be, I want that to be strategy, because that feels like it's got a reversal of tarts in the middle of it. Say, yes, that's right. Around Jersey, etc., loneliness engenders concern. Don't know. Cut of meat, something served up when Duke is absent. Cut of meat, rib. You serve bird in prison. So that is what's going on with that one. Barker's surprised cry when catching a nail. Well, I know that a brad is a nail, and therefore if you know that, you can get the rest of it relatively easily, because it must be Labrador. Woman keeping the queen, and this decorative artwork. Woman. Tracery, wow. ER in Tracy. Officer involved in a pact with leaders of great publishing firm. Leaders of great publishing firm. Officer. I should be able to get that, but I'm being slow. Alleged lover securing introduction to roving reporter. No. Delayed little boy finally runs to centre. No. Around Jersey, etc. It might be Channel Islands, I suppose. Loneliness. Something like solitary. Can't quite see it. A woman in bed. Oh, it's easy. That's cannot. And in cot. Sportsman's obstruction revealed in a couple of articles. That's going to be athlete, I think. Let is an obstruction in A and V. Near sensation of prickling, restricting a singer. A nightingale. So that's a tingle around A. Tingle around A. Very small fruit in yellow boxes. Tiny. It's a hidden. A sort of wedding. Disheartened old Japanese shotgun wedding. Shogun, obviously. I recommend the book by James Clavell. Furious caught in cool mountain range with little money. Okay, how about something like incandescent, which I got from the scent at the end. So caught in cool mountain range. I can see Andes and scent in there. I think that must be right. Agitate Arab leader on radio. If you shake someone, you agitate them. And that sounds like an alternative spelling of shake. Singular pair managed to pinch old sporran. I think. So PR for pair and ran around O. Heads of something. Just very straightforward. Condition that retro pub stops supplying mineral. Retro pub. Stanite. State around a reversal of in. Quite difficult, that clue. State of Newcastle supporter introducing 1960s pop. How about Nebraska there? Northeast bra introducing ska. Lovely clue, very nice. A tyre sent flying in US motorway. Well, okay, that's just an anagram. That's interstate, spelled incorrectly by me. They engage people who arrive outside embassy. People who arrive outside embassy. I want them to be commas around the outside of. They engage commissioners. Missioner, comers around mission. Points about new graduates collectively en masse, I would think. Yes, lots of compass points around the MAs. Work over, turned up with son. No idea. Old maidish teacher recalled in spy novel. It looks like an anagram of spy around some old maidish teacher. Prissy, how about prissy there? Sir reversed with an anagram of spy around the outside. So this could be opus now. Over, O, reversal of up, and then an S. Depressed fellow associated with tabloid, sunken. Ken and Son, as in the newspaper. Uncommon procedure involving female getting thinner. Rarefication. Rarefaction. Is that a word? Daughter thought to have lost head, turned aside, reflected, without its R and with a D instead. Concern. Oh, this could be tarry, couldn't it? Terry. Little boy finally. Delayed. Oh, no, tardy. Little tad with Y. Gosh, sorry, that was very slow. Right, we're getting there though, aren't we? Let's have a look at this one. Meat brought in before noon. Last of chicken. Leg. The king. Agamemnon. That looks like. Agamemnon. So meat, presumably is game, brought in before noon AM. Then last of chicken N. Leg side is the on side, so very difficult wordplay there. Okay, so what, this is group captain then. Let's put group captain and try and work out why. So an officer is a group captain involved in a pact. Is that an anagram? Yes, it's an anagram of in a pact with leaders of great. And then a publishing firm. Yeah, so Great GR and Oxford University Press at the start. Nice. Alleged lover securing introduction to roving reporter as a correspondent. Alleged. We'll work out why in a minute. This is solicitude now. Solicitude. So it's solitude around Channel Islands. Let's try and submit that. See how that worked out, and then we'll talk about it. Okay. Okay. So, right, saying I came 15th there. Let's have a look at the real story in terms of which of these times looks. Wow. So there's a couple here that are nonsense times, but there is one time there again. John McCabe, 3 minutes 43 for that puzzle. That is a quite phenomenal time. I mean, that is almost as quick as you'll ever see on a Times crossword. Even Mark may not go that quickly today. So we've got a couple of regular Times crossword finalists at 7 and 8, and some other reasonable solvers So yeah, interesting. Now let's go back and how do I go back and have a look at the actual crossword? Sorry, I have to flick around here. I think one of the things we might do, or I might get Mark to do tomorrow, is to perhaps look at my solve there and mention where he was quicker than I was. Now I suspect he would have been quicker around the solicitude. I think he would have, as I did, he would see the Channel Islands possibility, but he would have been able to find solitude and know that the word solicitude meant concern very, very quickly, whereas you saw that that was a relatively late stage in the solve for me. And where else do I think he'll have picked up time? I mean, it definitely takes a minute or two longer to, when we're talking, when we're live solving. So, that will make up some of the difference, but he'll also, I think, have been quicker around group captain. He may well have written in once, because he would have had strategy and Labrador very quickly. And then from the G and the O, I suspect he would get group captain immediately, whereas you saw, again, I paused, took a look at it for a few seconds, didn't solve it. The top right was very straightforward, I think, for an experienced solver. The only thing to mention there, I'll just go back to it, is this word obstruction in the clue. Now again, we've talked about the importance of short synonyms, and it's not an obvious short synonym, the word let, for an obstruction, unless you are an experienced cryptic crossword solver, in which case it's almost second nature. Because it's so useful for setters to include in words. LET in the middle of something is relatively common, and therefore it comes up quite often, and therefore we get to learn it. Nightingale was quite a good solve, I think. I was pleased to solve that relatively quickly. And then which other ones should we just talk about? I didn't quite understand the incandescent. So court, I see that in cool mountain range. Oh, cool is in there. Got it. Okay, so if something's cool, it's fashionable, it's in. And then the mountain range are the Andes. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Come back. Anything else that we should talk about? The only other clue I'll mention, actually, is Labrador. So at 9 across, which again I solved relatively quickly, but I can imagine for less experienced solvers that could have been more difficult, because it contains, I mean, Barker is that does seem to be defining a dog, but there are lots of 8-letter dogs. The tricky part here are the two elements of the wordplay. So we've got law as a surprised cry, LOR, which is it's a very old expression. It's something you might see in an old comic or something. Certainly, I've never heard anybody use it in actual speech in real life ever. But that's what surprised cry is getting at there. And then when catching a nail, well, I can see that when catching is suggesting that I need to put the surprised cry around the outside of something. And Brad for a nail, well, how easy is that? Well, you tell us, but I think it's one of these words that I only know from doing the Times crossword. And obviously once you get the inkling that there is a word for a nail that's the word Brad, and you're putting that in the middle of an 8-letter word, you're almost done. So that can be a right-in for me, but could be a clue that for some people would take them, minutes and minutes of thinking. So we're a bit fortunate, both Mark and I, in some ways, in that we've been doing these long enough that some of these more unusual bits of vocabulary don't hold us up as much. But I hope that was interesting to see a live solve today. As I say, we'll get Mark to run through it tomorrow as well, just to, we're trying to, I suppose, unearth some of the reasons for his extraordinary times. And we may also do a Sudoku either today or tomorrow, for those interested in that sort of thing. Sorry, I just remembered that we didn't actually go through 12 across, which is some people may be struggling with. So, alleged lover securing introduction to roving reporter. Well, you can see that the introduction to roving is an R. So we need an alleged lover around the outside of an R, and you can see there's the word correspondent there, which I think is it's something to do with divorce, isn't it? If you name somebody in a divorce who has had an affair with the wife or the husband, then they are the co-respondent in that case. So quite a legalistic word, I suppose, and one that may not be familiar to everybody. And certainly when I was solving the crossword, I was trying to find a word for alleged and then a different word for lover, which is why we needed to come back to it to pass it properly just now. So that's how that one works, and yeah, we'll see you again tomorrow. Cracking the Cryptic.
Me and her went for a ride in 10 innocent people down.